How complexity arises from simplicity. Consider a single water molecule. It has no wetness, no fluidity, no waves. It is just three atoms bound together. Now consider a trillion water molecules together. Suddenly there is wetness, fluidity, currents, and tides. Properties appear that no individual molecule possesses. This is emergence, the arising of new phenomena at higher levels of organization that cannot be predicted from lower levels alone. Emergence is everywhere. Life emerges from chemistry. Mind emerges from neurons. Societies emerge from individuals. At every scale, the universe generates novelty, creating wholes that are genuinely more than the sum of their parts. But how? How does complexity arise from simplicity? How does newness enter the world? Welcome back to the Conscious Observer. Today we explore emergence, the creative engine of the cosmos. Philosophers distinguish between weak and strong emergence. Weak emergence is surprising but ultimately explainable. The wetness of water is unexpected if you only know about individual molecules, but in principle it can be derived from molecular physics. Given enough computing power, you could predict wetness from the equations. There is nothing magical, just unexpected consequences of known laws. Strong emergence is more radical. It claims that some higher level properties are not even in principle derivable from lower levels. They are genuinely new, ontologically novel, not just epistemologically surprising. Consciousness is the leading candidate. No matter how much you know about neurons, some argue, you could never predict subjective experience. The redness of red, the pain of pain, these seem to be strongly emergent, arising from physical processes but not reducible to them. For centuries, science has been reductionist, explaining wholes in terms of parts. Biology reduces to chemistry, chemistry to physics, physics to fundamental particles and forces. This approach has been spectacularly successful. But emergence suggests its limits. Some phenomena resist reduction. A traffic jam is made of cars, but knowing everything about individual cars does not tell you about traffic patterns. An economy is made of transactions, but economics is not derivable from physics. Consciousness is made of neurons, but neuroscience has not explained experience. At certain thresholds of complexity, new laws seem to apply, new patterns govern behavior. Reductionism is not wrong, but it may be incomplete. The universe might be layered, with each layer having its own irreducible principles that cannot be derived from below. One key to emergence is self-organization. Under the right conditions, systems spontaneously organize into complex patterns without external direction. A hurricane forms from air and water molecules following simple physical laws. No one designs the spiral, it emerges from the dynamics. Flocking birds create mesmerizing patterns through simple local rules. Stay close, avoid collision, align with neighbors. No leader coordinates the murmuration, it self-organizes. Crystals grow into intricate geometries. Chemical reactions oscillate in surprising rhythms. Life itself may have begun as self-organizing chemistry, molecules arranging themselves into patterns that could replicate and evolve. The universe seems biased toward order, toward structure, toward complexity. Given the right ingredients and conditions, organization emerges spontaneously. Emergence often occurs at phase transitions, thresholds where systems shift qualitatively. Water at 99 degrees Celsius is liquid. At 100, it becomes gas. The molecules are the same, only their relationships change. But the properties are dramatically different. Phase transitions happen in many systems. Ferromagnets undergo transitions where random atomic spins suddenly align. Neural networks can transition from random firing to synchronized oscillation. Some theorists believe consciousness might be a phase transition, arising when neural activity crosses some critical threshold of integration or complexity. Below the threshold, there is information processing but no experience. Above it, awareness ignites. If this is true, consciousness is not gradually added but suddenly emerges, like boiling water turning to steam. Emergence raises questions about causation. We usually think causes flow upward. Particles cause chemistry, chemistry causes biology, biology causes mind. But emergent systems seem to exhibit downward causation, where higher levels constrain lower levels. Your decision to raise your arm causes neurons to fire and muscles to contract. The thought, at the mental level, causes physical events at the neural level. This seems backwards. How can the emergent level reach down and push around the parts from which it emerged? Some philosophers deny that downward causation is real, insisting all causation is ultimately bottom up. Others argue that emergent levels have genuine causal power, that minds really do move matter, that wholes really do constrain parts. The debate remains unresolved, touching the deepest questions about what is real and what can cause. Information may be the key to understanding emergence. When parts combine into wholes, new information is created, information about relationships, patterns, and structures that does not exist at the lower level. This information can have causal power. The information in DNA directs the construction of organisms. The information in a mind represents the world and guides behavior. Perhaps emergence is always about new information arising from new configurations. This view connects to ideas we have explored before. The universe as fundamentally informational. Reality as patterns and relationships rather than stuff. Emergence might be the process by which information complexifies, by which new patterns crystallize from simpler ones, by which the universe becomes richer in structure over time. Life is the most dramatic example of emergence we know. From non-living chemistry, living systems arose, with metabolism, reproduction, evolution, and agency. No one has fully explained how this happened. We know the ingredients, organic molecules, energy sources, compartments like cell membranes. We know some of the steps, self-replicating molecules, selection for efficiency, increasing complexity, but the origin of life remains mysterious. At some point, chemistry became biology. Something emerged that was genuinely new, not just complex chemistry, but life, with its teleology, its purposes, its drive to persist and reproduce. Whether this transition was inevitable given the right conditions, or a cosmic fluke remains unknown. But life demonstrates that the universe can generate radical novelty, that emergence can create things that never existed before. If life is dramatically emergent, consciousness is the ultimate case. From neurons firing, somehow experience arises. From electrochemical signals, somehow there is something it is like to be a brain. This is the hard problem we have circled throughout this series. Emergence might be the right framework, but it deepens the mystery rather than solving it. How does subjectivity emerge from objectivity? How does felt experience emerge from physical process? Some say it cannot, that consciousness must be fundamental, present in some form at every level rather than emerging at a threshold. Others say emergence is real, but we lack the concepts to understand it. Either way, consciousness stands as the greatest puzzle of emergence, the point where the universe becomes aware of itself through processes we do not understand. Emergence reveals a universe far richer than the sum of its parts. From simple ingredients, complex wholes arise. From particles, atoms. From atoms, molecules. From molecules, cells. From cells, organisms. From organisms, minds. At each transition, something new appears, properties that did not exist before, patterns that could not have been predicted. This is not magic. It follows laws, exploits constraints, builds on what came before. But it is wondrous. The universe is creative. It generates novelty, complexifies, evolves toward greater intricacy and awareness. You are the product of billions of years of emergence. Atoms that learn to think, matter that learn to wonder. In our next episode, we ask why consciousness evolved at all. What survival advantage does experience provide? Until then, remember, you are more than the sum of your parts. That more is the mystery of emergence. Keep observing.